Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, coming to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And our lines are open to receive your calls, as you will see the numbers displayed at the bottom of the screen, inshaAllah. The first question of today's program is from Amatullah. She says, I live in an Arab country and I'm different like them, being from Europe. I keep my morning and evening adhkar, and I want to ask you, as I'm invited to an Islamic wedding where there will be only women, can I read something over me before I go there, or should I cover myself even in front of them, as I'm afraid of hasad? The sister definitely is referring to the fact that she is from Europe. She is probably blonde and with fair skin, and she's afraid of someone watching over her, someone looking at her and giving her an evil eye. And this happens. However, as a believer, as a Muslim, as long as you maintain and observe the adhkar of the morning and the evening, and the adhkar that we say after salat, and the adhkar before going to bed, and also the adhkar when we go out of the house and say Bismillahi tawakkaltu ala Allah, etc., that you all know of. In this case, you should have nothing to fear, because you are protected. Allah Azza wa Jal is watching over you, and with the grace of Allah, nothing would happen to you, because you have said the adhkar with an open mind and a focused heart. So you should not be afraid of that, because this is usually from shaitan. Umar's question is, why is a sheep for sacrifice better than a camel and a cow? I don't know where Umar got this notion, this idea from, because the Prophet ﷺ, the majority of his time, the majority of his sacrifice were of camels. We know that in Hajjat al-Wada', in the farewell pilgrimage, he sacrificed 100 camels, 100, not a single sheep. So in Udhiyah, or in sacrifice of Hadi, you have the choice either to slaughter one sheep or to take part in slaughtering a camel or a cow and having 6 others with you. And you can sacrifice a whole camel on your behalf alone and not sharing it with anyone. So saying that a sheep is better than a camel or a cow, this is not correct. Sarah says, is it mandatory to do wudu before ghusl? I didn't do that, so do I have to repeat my prayers and wash my clothes that I prayed in for the next salah? However, I did make wudu afterwards. Can you please help me? I'm very worried about my salah. First of all, ghusl has 2 ways to do. And I'm talking about the ghusl that uplifts a major impurity. I'm not talking about a normal shower or a normal bath that a person takes, whether to clean himself or simply to go for a ritual such as Friday or Eid. I'm talking about the ghusl, which is the total mandatory bath that uplifts the major impurity. This has 2 ways of doing it. One is the sunnah way, and this is when a person is in the state of sexual impurity, or a woman is pure and clean from her menses or postnatal bleeding, and she would like to uplift the major impurity. The sunnah is to wash your hands 3 times, and then wash your private parts, and then wash your hands again. Then perform wudu, and the whole wudu process is normal, but don't wash your feet. Delay that till the very end. After that, you take 3 scoops of water and thoroughly wash your head, ensuring that the water has reached the scalp. After that, you pour water on the right side of your body and then the left side of your body, and then wash your feet. And by that, you've purified yourself and you've uplifted both major and minor impurities. So now you can pray. The second way of doing it is to simply shower, take a shower, without performing any wudu. But because this is uplifting a major impurity, if you turn the water in your mouth and sniff the water up your nostrils and sniff it out, and then take it out, by washing the whole of your body, you have also performed ghusl that uplifted your major and minor impurity. One would say, but I didn't perform wudu. We say it is a minor form of worship that went under the bigger form of worship. For example, if I go to the masjid and the imam is praying dhuhr, 4 rak'ahs, so I join him in the first rak'ah. Second, third, and fourth, he concluded, I concluded my prayer. Now, do I have to stand up and pray 2 rak'ahs, tahiyyatul masjid, the greeting of the masjid? The answer is no. One would say, why? You didn't pray it. I said, I didn't pray it, but the 4 rak'ahs, which are a major and a bigger form of worship, had this embedded in it, so there's no need for that. Likewise, a person in Hajj who did not perform Tawaf al-Ifada or Tawaf al-Hajj or Tawaf al-Ziyara, all 3 names are for the Tawaf, which is a pillar of Islam, that is a pillar of Hajj. A person did not perform it on the day of Eid and decided to perform it on the 13th of the Hijjah. And as he was doing it, he finished his sa'i and left to the buses and left the place. Do we say you have to slaughter a sheep because you didn't offer farewell tawaf? The answer is no. Farewell tawaf is embedded in this, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Aisha from Dubai. Farewell tawaf is embedded in this, Allah Aisha from Dubai.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Listen to me from the phone and turn off your TV. Yes, what can I do for you?
It is permissible the man will divorce his wife because the reason is he wants to marry another one.
Okay. Any more question?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Okay. Sister Aisha is asking, is it permissible for a man to divorce his wife because he wants to marry another one? Divorce can take the 5 rulings. It can be mandatory, it can be recommended, it can be permissible, it can be not recommended, it can be forbidden. So it depends on the intention. If a man divorces his wife because she prays and he tells her not to pray, or she wears the hijab and he doesn't want her to wear the hijab, this divorce is forbidden and he's sinful because she's doing something that is mandatory. If a man divorces his wife because she goes out without his permission and she has friends of the opposite sex and she goes on parties, her divorce is mandatory. Such an evil woman should be thrown in trash, not to be kept in the house and taken care of his children, who would probably be like her, evil and a piece of trash. Likewise with the other rulings on divorce. So generally speaking, if a man divorces his wife because he wants to marry another one, we would like to look into the circumstances that made him divorce his wife. Maybe he says that my wife is totally against me taking a second wife, and she is not fulfilling my needs as a husband, and she is a working woman and she doesn't have time for me, and I told her quit your job and blah blah blah. He gives circumstances that are acceptable. In this case, then he has nothing wrong on him because she doesn't allow him to either marry another wife, and she is not able to give him his rights. So his divorce is okay, and we have to look into the reasons, and Allah knows best. Ridwan from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I want to ask a question regarding Qasr prayer.
Okay.
Supposing I estimate that I will reach my destination.
Okay.
Before the time of after prayer, for instance.
Okay.
Can I still combine Zuhr and Asr prayer while on the trip? Or can I confine myself to Zuhr prayer only? I don't know whether my question is clear.
It is clear. You're asking that. I know that I will arrive to my destination when Asr time is due. But on the way, can I combine Asr to Dhuhr?
Yes.
The answer is yes,
Exactly.
Akhi. The answer is yes. You can do that on your way and there is no problem in it, inshallah.
Okay. My second question is, I came across a book called Nahajul, sorry if I pronounce it wrongly, Nahajul Balaga or something like that.
Okay.
It is a collection of the
Ali ibn Abi Talib's sayings.
Of Sayyidina Ali.
Yes, yes, I know.
I don't know how genuine that book is. I don't want to go into reading it before being sure about its how genuine it is. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Ridwan. Aisha from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have a question.
Yes.
Is it permissible to give gifts to teachers who are teaching you? Because I've heard that it is disliked. What is the ruling on it?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay. Ridwan's second question was about the book known as Nahj al-Balagha, which is a compilation of the sayings of Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him, the fourth Caliph, and the husband of Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this book, to my knowledge, is not authentic in the sense that it does contain few of the words and the sayings of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and it has a number of fabricated things that are not truly related to him. So is it trustworthy to read? And I would advise you not to do that. Yani Allah Azza wa Jal will hold you accountable to the Quran and to the Sunnah. Not to what Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali, may Allah be pleased with them, though they are the elite and the best of the Ummah. Yet you are held accountable to what Allah has said onto the Prophet ﷺ's Sunnah or to their Sunnah, because they are the rightly guided caliphs. But they will not bring something that goes against the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So if you have enough time on your hands, it is best to recite the Quran. Nothing comes close to the Quran. Recite it, ponder upon the verses, understand the meaning, read the tafsir. And then you also, parallelly, you could study and go through the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, comprehend it, and inshallah you will benefit more than reading anything else. Kalim from Germany.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Khalil. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Khalil.
MashaAllah. Sheikh, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
And basically, I live in Germany and my mom's non-Muslim. She's not a Muslim. And I want to ask if her friends, like let's say a family she knows, her good friends, they want to invite us for dinner, right? So can we, because to me and my brother, we're practicing, alhamdulillah, but then if we go to the family, they have a daughter and then they have a son, and then, so it would be like a mixed, we're on one table and you have the girl, the young girl, and then the mother, obviously they're both not covered, and it's for dawah purposes because they've shown interest to Islam, but then at the same time I don't want to compromise my Islam, as in, if I'm not allowed to go, as in, because it's not a very, because it's a mixed environment basically on the table, the girl will be there, the young girl, and
I understand.
My brother. So what do you advise us to do? Can we go and maybe lower our gaze and then still have the dinner with them? Or should we just rather not go at all?
I will answer your question, inshallah. Any more questions?
Okay. And the second question, can I just get a quick, because I just want to know how to practically apply the eating the meat of the people of the book. Does that mean here right now I can go to any restaurant in Germany, sit down, and because the party here, the ruling party, calls themselves Christian Socialist Party, so can I accept that and say, okay, so I can go to a restaurant here, I sit down, even though they cook pork in the back, they sell alcohol, I don't know if it's going to come into my food. Can I just say, okay, I don't know, it may not be, they may not cook with the same oil they use the pork with. you know, all these things you can think of, you know, that maybe they cook with the pork the same food as beef. So just, you know, because a lot of us in the West, we don't know, can I just go and eat the meat?
I will
So please, could you just answer that? As in,
I will do.
And even like the friends my mom wants to invite us to, they call themselves Christians. Can I just go there and eat their meat?
Okay.
Can I just sit there and eat with no problem to say, okay, maybe, you know, the meat is, you know what I mean? As in, it's just,
I know exactly.
I know the
I
ease of
I
eating
understand.
the meat for the people of the book.
I understand. I will answer you, inshallah, akhi. Abdul Aziz from Nigeria. I think we've lost Abdul Aziz. Okay. So Ridwan, we've done with Nahj al-Balagha. Aisha is saying that what's the ruling on giving gifts to teachers who teach you? If these teachers are giving you exams and their opinion would matter whether you pass or not, whether you get an A plus or you get a B or a C or whatever, in this case, this gift of yours, while you're still studying with them, is to be considered as a bribe, and one should not do this. But we have Muhammad from Kenya. Muhammad? Muhammad from Kenya.
Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. Listen to me from the phone and turn down your TV.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
Okay, sorry for that. What is the hukum of a husband? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah,
What is the
Muhammad.
hukum of a husband who has not provided for his children, and then after some time he wants to marry a second wife, and then wants to marry a second wife and decides not to go to work in order to provide for the two women? Is that allowed?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. So, Aisha, if you're studying and your teacher is doing voluntary work, so for example, if you go to a masjid, to a knowledge circle, and the teacher is not charging, and you want to give a gift as form of appreciation, this is permissible, because there is no benefit for the teacher. Meaning, if I were a teacher in a high school, and one of my students gives me an expensive pen or a watch, now, if I were not teaching him at that school and taking salary for it, if I were in my house or if I were on the streets, he would never had given me this. He's giving me this because of a reason. And usually the reason is that when I correct his paper, I would, you know, feel sorry for him and maybe give him an extra mark here or there. And this is not permissible. Khalil's question from Germany, his mother is a non-Muslim and they're invited to a friend's house, but this family is inclined to Islam, yet they have a daughter who is not properly dressed, and his mother's friend probably is also not properly dressed. So he says, can we go and give them da'wah and lower our gaze or not attend? The answer is no, you should not attend, because this has negative impact on your deen yourself. And this is one of the steps of shaitan, because once you begin, then things would roll over and over after that. So you will have them calling you, maybe SMSing you, maybe meeting somewhere else just to clarify your point of view, chatting, Facebook, Twitter, and the sky is the limit. Therefore, no, you should not be there and you should not go there. His second question is regarding the food of the people of the book. In chapter 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, Allah tells us that the slaughtering of the people of the book is halal for us. So if we know that this is a Christian country and the people of the book live there, this means that we can eat from their meat. And we don't have to go out of our way and say, is it slaughtered, is it banged on the head? As long as it's a Christian country, it's a Christian family, we eat without asking questions. And this draws us to his third question, that is when our friends or our neighbors invite us to food and we go, do we have to ask questions and this or that? So by default, the food of the Christians or the people of the book is halal for us. Now, when it comes to restaurants, it's different, because we know that this restaurant has a kitchen, and they cook on their grill, and they fry in their oil pork, fish, and meat. So this makes the question marks, raises the flags, and you have to refrain from eating in such restaurants because it is haram. The beef is there, the mutton there is halal, but the way it's cooked, you don't know, and most likely it is, because it's a restaurant. You see pork is being served, etc. Now, when it comes to the family that invites you, there is no harm in asking them that, and usually the family would cook beef and mutton on different grills. Yani they would use a pan, and they would wash the pan and then do it, not like in restaurants where they use the whole thing for the same purpose. Therefore, if you ask, there's no problem. And it's best to be safe rather than sorry. The last point I'd like to make is that in some countries, it is against the law to slaughter. So if you know that you're living in, let's say, Belgium, maybe, I don't know, Holland, if they have legislations, if they have rules and regulations forbidding the animal to be slaughtered, and they say it has to be killed either by banging it on the head or electrifying it or suffocating it until it is dead completely, then we start to cut the head off. This is a dead meat. You cannot eat that, and you could not eat meat in any of the restaurants in that country, the Christian country, unless there is a Muslim shop that sells halal meat and you know he's a Muslim, then this is okay, inshallah. Muhammad from Kenya, she says, what's the ruling on a husband who does not support his family? He doesn't have money to provide for his wife and children, and now he wants to get another wife. Is this permissible? The answer is no. Definitely, it's totally prohibited for him to do such a thing, because he's not being fair with his first wife and children. If he had access of money and he can be fair in providing for both families, this is permissible. If his second wife is so rich that she is willing and allowing him to take from her money to give his wife and children, this is permissible. But first of all, I don't think there is such another second wife that does this. Secondly, I don't believe that a man allows himself to accept to be treated in such a way. So I recommend highly that he does not do this, and if he doesn't have the means to support them, the marriage is haram for him. Abdul Karim from Nigeria. Okay, Muhammad from Saudi. Muhammad, listen to me from the phone and turn down your TV set, please.
Yes, I already done that.
Okay, I'm listening.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
كيف حالك?
حياك الله أخي.
Sheikh, I have just 3 questions. I have quickly asked and I will cut off the phone.
Okay.
My first question is regarding share market. What is the ruling for share market or stock exchange in Islam? Is it halal or haram?
Okay.
My second question is about married life. Like after birth of the first child, if the couples want to give a spacing, is it allowed to use contraceptive devices such as condom or such as things like that?
Okay.
Sheikh, my third question is regarding Jannah. I heard from the hadith that in Jannah, the age for all the people is 40. So I was wondering if I want my kids as kids in Jannah, obviously they will grow. I mean, after my death, they will go more age. So how this thing is going to happen in Jannah if I want my kids as kids, not in 40 age?
Okay.
Okay.
I will answer your questions, inshallah. Muhammad has 3 questions, and the first question is a handful. What's the ruling on trading in shares and stock market? This depends. It depends on the activity that the company you're buying its shares, deals in. So, okay, Abdul Karim from Nigeria.
Yeah, Abdul Karim from Nigeria.
Yes, what can I do for you, Abdul Karim?
I want to ask a question from the church.
Yeah. Listen to me from the phone and turn down the volume of your TV set, please. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
My question is this.
Okay.
Is it lawful for a Muslim? Is it lawful for a Muslim to feed from a Christian family during their Christmas holidays?
I cannot understand your question clearly, Abdul Karim.
That is my question.
Ya akhi, turn down the TV set.
I come again.
Turn down your TV set. Don't put it on.
Is it lawful for a Muslim to feed from a Christian family during this Christmas holidays? That is my question.
Is it allowed for a Muslim to greet the Christian families on Christmas?
Yes, sir. Yes, Sheikh.
I will answer you, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So Muhammad's question was about the shares. We have to, first of all, look into the line of work that this company I'm interested in buying their shares is in. So can I buy shares in Citibank? The answer is no, because it is based on riba. Likewise, HSBC, the banks, the major banks worldwide, they deal in riba, in interest. So it's totally prohibited to buy their shares, to work with them, to work for them, to do anything for them. Likewise here in the Muslim countries as well. If the company deals in entertainment, so they TV programs, they make music, it's all haram. If they deal in tobacco, if they deal in drugs, if they deal in arms and they supply warring factions with guns, and they fuel their feuds with such things, this is haram. If it's a company that deals with agriculture or with dairy products or with industrial products, pipes, cement, factories, this is halal. So it's permissible, but we have to look into their financing. So we have to read their financial statement and report and see how they're financing. If they're financing all of their activities with 60 or 70% of riba, then the whole place is built on riba and financed by riba. We cannot deal in that. If it's all halal product and being financed less than 30%, as some scholars made this percentage, by less than 30% by riba, but the majority is halal, then it is permissible for you to buy and sell, providing you don't have what they call hedging and margin purchasing. You don't get financing by a bank 3 or 4 times more than the cash you have, and then you are involved in riba. This is inshallah all permissible if you avoid the haram stuff. Abdul Karim's question was, what's the ruling on congratulating the non-Muslims with their feasts, whether it's Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Easter? It is all totally prohibited for Muslims to greet them with their feasts and their festivals, or to celebrate with them, or to help them. This is all completely prohibited for Muslims to do. Why? Muslims are so aggressive. Muslims are hostile. They don't share the love. No, it has nothing to do with that. We have a religion, and we recite every single day in the Fatiha, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, guide us to the straight path, other than the path of those whom you have cursed, or you have been angered with, or went astray. So this is part of a religion. We have a straight path to follow. This doesn't mean we can't be kind to them and caring and generous. No, this is part of a religion. Whenever I have a non-Muslim, I would definitely be out of my way to be kind, generous, and caring to him. But this doesn't mean that I should go with him to his synagogue or to his church to worship with him, just part of being nice and whatever. No, we have a religion and we have to abide by it. So in our religion, it is prohibited for us to congratulate them or to send them a postcard or to give them a gift on their celebrations. This is totally prohibited. One would argue and say, okay, in Eid, they always send us a postcard saying Happy Eid for you. Well, the answer is easy. Our Eids are right and correct because they're in accordance to the true religion of Allah Azza wa Jal. Theirs are not, definitely. So when they do something good, then this is good for them, but this does not mean we have to do the same for them in their celebrations, which is totally prohibited. Shakil from Medina. Or Salam Rahmatullah.
I'm Dr. Shabir from Medina.
Shabir, how are you? Yes, sir.
I just have a question. I usually post articles on Facebook. The problem is, most of the times, I try to expose the deviant views and deviant culture or deviant things in other religions. For example, for Christianity, since Christmas is in this month, so I have exposed almost all the doctrines of Christianity, and right from original sin to the pagan origins of Christmas.
Okay.
Do you think, is this an offensive way of doing Dawah or inviting people? Do you think the Christians will just they will just not like this way of because I'm exposing the truth, because this is what the Christianity is.
Okay, I will answer your question,
yeah,
Sham.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Dr. Shabir. Muhammad's second question was on contraceptives. What's the ruling on having a gap between children, 2-3 years, so that one would catch his breath and the woman is capable of taking care of a child until he's like 2 or 3 years of age and then reproducing again? There is no problem, inshallah, as long as it is not harmful for the woman. The third question is that he heard that people in Jannah would be on an age of 40. And I don't know this. My knowledge is that they would be all resurrected and will enter Jannah at the age of 33. This is what I know, but I don't know. Maybe there's something else I don't know of. So he's saying that if I die, my children will grow up and probably live until they're 60 or 70, and they will be resurrected as 33 years of age as well. So what if I want to enjoy my children in Jannah? Akhi, rest assured that Allah Azza wa Jal, if He admits you to Jannah, may Allah admits me and you and all our viewers to Jannah. If Allah admits us to Jannah, you will find everything that satisfies your heart. But there will be things that no eye has seen and no ear has heard of and no heart has ever thought of. So rest assured that you will be satisfied. Don't worry about this. Worry about entering Jannah in the first place. Second of all, the Prophet ﷺ told us that a man like you in Jannah, when he Okay, Islam from Nigeria. Islam?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam Alaikum.
My question is, if a woman is menstruating for like 15 days, a menstrual period, should she at that stage now have her bath and start praying?
Okay.
And is it also permissible at that stage, if the menstruation has not finished, for the husband to sleep or come together with her?
I will answer your question, inshallah. Alaikum salam. Ayman from Jordan? Oh, Adam from Jordan?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam rahmatullah.
I'm just inquiring. I come to Jordan and just to study Deen here, and I've been introduced to a sect that I wasn't aware of before, called a Madkhali sect, and I'm just wondering what your opinion is on this. I'm new to this this ideology, and if you can explain it to me, please.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakum, hayyakum Allah. And Dr. Shabir's question was that he posts on his Facebook articles criticizing and highlighting the origin of different religions, such as Christianity, the different sects of Christianity, what they say about Christmas, and he's doing this. So he's saying, is this the right thing to do? To me, I would not be so encouraging for such way of doing da'wah. See, I am a Sunni, I am a Muslim, and if you want to call me to Islam, if you start by saying, Akhi, I don't like the way you put your hands on your chest, because the majority of so-and-so put it under the navel, and this may, and you start attacking something that I believe in, I would never accept your da'wah. And likewise, even if a person who's not a practicing Christian, if you start to say, your beliefs are wrong, and you do this, and you do that, and you're all in hell, he will not listen to you, because you're so offensive. So the way that the Quran teaches us is to call them to common ground, to call them to the Tawheed. Kalthum from Nigeria.
Alaikum.
Alaikum salam to Allah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you. What can I do for you, Kalthum?
My son-in-law had asked me a question and I couldn't answer.
Okay.
His question was, is it one receive and achieve for everybody, or each person is attached to receive and achieve?
I didn't understand you. Is it allowed for him to do what?
He asked me, receive and achieve the angels that record our good and bad deeds.
The angels that record the good and bad deeds, okay?
Yes, that is it one for all the world, for everybody in the world, or is individually, having one receive and one achieve?
Okay, I'll answer your question, inshallah. Abdul Rahim from Saudi.
Yes, Assalamualaikum, Sheikh.
Salam to Allah.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Yes.
One regarding if somebody purchase a house on a loan from the bank on installment basis, is it permissible or not?
The bank is Islamic bank?
Yeah, from not Islamic bank, a normal bank.
يعني a mortgage.
Those who charge the interest.
So it's mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if the house which we buy, if we receive the rent, it is halal or haram?
Okay. And question? Any more questions?
Yeah, this is the one. Two questions.
Khalas. I will answer, inshallah. Okay, so we go back to Shabir. So I would highly recommend that you highlight the good things about Islam. Maybe if you would like to make a comparison, it's okay, but don't be offensive. Call people to truth. Call people to honesty. Call people in the first place to monotheism, to Tawheed. And tell them that this is what even Christianity teaches in the Bible or in the different religious books. Tawheed is everywhere. Worshipping only the one Creator. No one is associated with Him. If you do this, and every now and then you use this information that you have collected and gathered throughout the years about Christianity, about different religions, and just put pointers and a little bit of it, not to offend anyone, but to open their eyes, this is better, inshallah, and this is my own opinion, Allah knows best. Islam says that if a woman has her menses for 15 days or more, so what's the ruling on that? If it exceeds 15 days, then this is most likely to be her, what is known as istihada. This is not the normal menses, because now it's prolonged for more than half of the month. Usually it comes 6, 7, 8, 10 days. But if it's more than 15 and this is irregular bleeding, then in this case, a woman is ordered to have her ghusl and to pray, and her husband can have intimacy with her, because this is irregular bleeding. However, she should distinguish afterwards, and if she has a particular time or period of the month that she gets her menses, when this period comes, she should refrain from salah and from having intimacy with her husband, and consider this to be her menses. And afterwards, after it ends, she should have her ghusl and resume her life, and Allah knows best. Adam from Jordan, she's saying that she heard of a sect called Al-Madkhali. There isn't any such a sect as Al-Madkhali. There is a group of Muslims who decided to follow one scholar whose name is Muhammad ibn Rabi' al-Madkhali. He's a great scholar. He was thought of highly of previous scholars of Islam and until today. And he has followings. They chose to take the hard line of, not the sheikh, his followers, to ridicule, to look down, to criticize, to call al-jarh wa ta'deel of everyone else who does not follow them. They're not a sect. They follow Aqidat Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah in totality. And no one is fault-proof. Everyone has shortcomings. So some would may accuse them of being partly murji'ah, but this is not fair and objective. See, when shaitan comes between the different groups that all apply Quran and Sunnah, all raise the flag of Salafiyah and the flag of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. When shaitan comes, then they start to call each other names and labels and look down at each other, and the only one who's happy is shaitan. He's on his couch laughing his head off. So there isn't any sect as such, but there are a group of Muslims who are following the actual true Aqidah, the good books. They pray like we pray, they fast like we fast, they know, they teach the same books that we teach, but they come on few different issues that are acceptable to have difference of opinion in, and they take a hard stance, and the others take a harder stance, and they start pointing fingers and calling each other names. So what you should know is that inshallah they are on the right track. Avoid the bad things they have, such as slandering everyone who does not follow the sheikh. So at the end of the day, you have only 5 or 6 to follow, and the rest are all mubtadi'ah or ikhwani, are all in hell, are all deviant. If someone makes a single mistake, they immediately pull the trigger on him. And he's deviant, he's definitely sururi, qutbi. They call them names and they attack them as they do not attack the enemies of Islam. They're so focused on doing that. And this is from shaitan. Now, are they all the same? No, they're not. But those who are keyboard muftis and those who are so into writing articles, and they could spend like 6-7 hours writing about people and doing things just to tarnish their reputation, nothing all, not for the sake of Allah. These people you should avoid. But when they start to teach hadith, or start hadith, aqidah, they start to teach you the deen, avoid them when they speak about individuals. Just follow their teaching in that sense, and Allah guide us all to what He loves. Kulthum asks and says, are those angels writing the good deeds and the bad deeds 1 or 2? There are 2. In the hadith, we are told that the one who writes the bad deeds is ordered to uplift the pen for 6 hours. So if a person repents and asks Allah for forgiveness, he would not write it down. And if he doesn't, he writes it down. So we know that there are the 2 angels for every individual. Abdul Rahim's question is that what's the ruling on buying a house, a property from a bank in mortgage? Meaning that I buy a property paying in installments for 20 years with interest. And if I'm late and the inflation goes up and down, the amount goes up and down as well. And this is riba. This is totally prohibited and it's a major sin. And the one who does it and the one who takes the money are all cursed, and there's the same level of sin. Now, if someone has already got into this transaction, we have to look first on the final amount. So if he says, I bought a house, originally it should have been $1 million, but the bank is charging me $2 million over the duration of 20 years. So now the contract is signed and I've paid like for 5 or 10 years or whatever. So what's the ruling on that? We say if the total amount, which is 2 million, is fixed, no way it will be 1 penny more due to any reason. In this case, khalas, you've already indulged in this transaction, continue paying them on time until the 20 years are over. But if he says no, it can be 2.4 depending on the inflation and the central bank interest rates, etc. So there is a possibility that it may increase. In this case, no. We tell you, get out of this deal immediately, because the riba is reoccurring and you are partaking in it a great role. As for the property that I've purchased through this haram transaction, and now I'm putting it on lease, I'm renting it to people, the income is halal. But you have to try to get rid of that as soon as possible. Okay. Wahab or Vahab says, about the day on Tuesdays, I have read that the Prophet ﷺ would not go to the market because it's Tuesday. There is nothing on this regard. This is baseless. There are no restrictions for you to go to the market, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday. You can go whenever you want, and there is no hadith in such issue. Tazin has a question, and Tazin says, I got braces 2 years ago to get my teeth straight and aligned. Now that I took it off, I feel different. I feel like I looked better and felt more confident before I ever got it. Was it sinful for me to get it? I look a little different, so would this mean I'm changing Allah's creation? First of all, to wear these bracelets and braces and to fix your teeth, this is haram. It is not permissible, because this is changing the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. You are after beautifying, more beautifying your teeth. But if the dentist, and he is reliable and he fears Allah, said that your bite is wrong, and this will have an impact on your teeth, on the way you eat, or on the way you speak. So this is something that has to be changed into the normal thing. And with the braces is okay. It's permissible, because it is changing a defect. It is changing something that is wrong. But simply just to beautify your teeth and to look better by doing that, this is haram, and you must not do that. Ma'moon says, what is your opinion on the Zahiri madhab? Al-Zahiri madhab is a school of thought that came after the 4 schools of thought were established. Dawood ibn Ali al-Zahiri was the founder, and Abu Muhammad ibn Hazm was one of the great scholars of that madhab who helped in spreading it. His well-known book Al-Muhalla is quite famous in discussing the different chapters of fiqh. Al-Zahiri madhab, like it sounds, al-Zahir, which means the surface or the blunt meaning. So these people come to a hadith and they take it for its face value, and they would not apply any type of analogy to it, and they do not accept analogy comparing apple to apple and getting the same verdict. This is not allowed for them to do. Now, in Islam, there is a lot of right in it, but it's not all right. So there is analogy. The Prophet ﷺ was once asked about my mother did not perform Hajj and she died. Shall I perform Hajj on her behalf? Look at the answer of the Prophet ﷺ. He said that if your mother had a debt, would you pay that debt for her? And the man said yes. So the Prophet said, Allah's debt is more worthy of being paid, which means that he made the analogy. So analogy is part of Islam. Zahiri madhab, they are stiff. They say, no, this is the hadith, we follow it. And we don't care about what are the consequences and what the consequences are and what follows. So for example, the Prophet said, do not urinate in stagnant water and then make wudu after that. So they said, yes, urinating in stagnant water is haram. But if you urinate in a big bucket of an empty bucket and fill it with urine and then pour it in the stagnant water, this is okay. Now this is, with all due respect, stupid, because this is far worse than urinating 5 or 6 drops. But they said no. And if you take a crap, if you defecate in that stagnant water, is okay, because the Prophet only forbade us from urinating. Such things are so not realistic, and we cannot follow this, and it is not correct. However, they are better than those who do not follow the hadith or the Quran at all and decide to simply follow their whims and desires. And if their whims and desires go against an authentic hadith, they say, no, what we thought of, this is much more reliable than the hadith. So in a sense, yes, you have to balance, you have to set the compromise, and their school of thought is reliable, but not in everything. They are more reliable than those who only follow their whims and desires. I'm afraid that this brings us to the end of tonight's program. Until we meet you next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance.